Happy New Year, everybody. I want to wish you all the best in 2014. I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody builds this year. I think it's going to be a great year for the online woodworking community. Last year, 2013, was my first complete year of making free woodworking videos. And I'm up to 58 videos and I have 6,140 subscribers. So I want to thank all of you for watching, and if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please click that subscribe button and keep up with what's happening in the Carmichael Workshop. I love doing the woodworking, I love making the videos, and I also love interacting with all of you. It's fun to read your comments and reply to them, get your emails. And I also like watching all the other woodworkers videos, and I think we have a great thing going with this whole online woodworking community. But I've got a list of some projects I want to do for this year, so I can't wait to get started on those. But what I'd like to do today is kind of a where are they now video, and kind of take you around the house and show you some of the projects I've done in videos in the past, and we can see where those have ended up. So let's take a walk around the house and see what we can find. This was my dad's old Craftsman tool chest, and I cleaned it up and gave it a Van Halen paint job. I'm a huge Van Halen fan, so I think it looks pretty cool, and it adds some color in the shop. This project up here is the safety station I made for the safety day or safety week. But it's basically some CD, DVD containers that are turned upside down. And I don't go into this top container that's got Band-Aids. I haven't opened that since I made it, which is a good thing. But I have used the gloves and the dust mask, and more frequently I get into this bottom container that's got safety glasses. I've also got my green and green spanking machine paddle. That was in my paddle video. That was a fun one. I did do a video for this scroll saw workshop sign up here, and I got a lot of great feedback on that. And up there in the corner you can probably see my Rolling Stones birdhouse. That's the one I made for the Summer's Woodworking Birdhouse Challenge last year. One of my favorite projects from last year was my foot-long sub sandwich I made out of a 2x4. It was for a 2x4 contest that my woodworking association was having, and it's stored up here in this white box. The green lettuce was wood shavings that kind of got all over the shop, so you can see all the sandwich parts in here. But I just keep this one stored, and I'll pull it out if I want to display it at like a craft fair or something like that. So I'll just keep that right up there. My favorite shop project from last year was this lumber storage rack. I didn't do a video for this because there's a lot of great videos on these out there already. But these are great. If you don't have one, it's perfect for getting the lumber off the floor, onto the wall, especially in a small shop. My second most popular video was on screen printing. It involved a little bit of woodworking as far as making the frame. But I did a video on how to screen print your own shirts and using just inexpensive materials, and I went through the process from start to finish. So a lot of people have found that helpful, and that turned out to be my second most viewed video. Over here at my table saw I've got a couple of my projects, and one is my Mudflap Trucker Girl push stick. This is great for cutting thin strips, but now I have a gripper, so she's kind of been replaced with the gripper. But I also found the Weenie Grasper that came from the video that I got the most dislikes on. When I cut a hot dog on my table saw and then I cooked it on the grill. That was a fun video to make. The folks over at Rockler were kind enough to send me 3 free products to try out last year. The first was the hairpin table legs that I used on the record player stand. The second were the shoe shelf brackets, and the third item was this glue applicator kit. And this was really my only full-on product review video that I did. And after using it for a few months, I would definitely say that the smaller bottle
with the pointed tip is a keeper. The only problem I have is I keep vacuuming up the little red cap into my shop vac, and actually that's where it is right now, so I need to dig that out. So that's a keeper. I really like the screw-on glue brush. I use it all the time. I like the edge gluing guide. That comes in handy. I have not used the other spout that's meant for like biscuit slots and grooves. I have not used that yet. I have not used the glue brush for cleaning. I have used the funnel to help fill up bottles, and this is great for someone who doesn't have a steady hand and usually spills glue all over the place when you're filling up your bottle. I've only used the roller a couple of times, but one thing to note on that is the little cap that's attached to it. Mine broke off, but so out of all these things, definitely the bottle, these two items, and the funnel are keepers. Here's the wooden license plate I made for my wife's van about 6 months ago, and all I did was spray it with a few coats of lacquer, and you can tell the weather has really gotten to it. It's looking pretty beat up, and it's turning gray around the edges. It probably would have been a better idea to use varnish or something on it, but I'll probably either take this off and clean it up, or it'll probably be more fun just to make another one. Here's the saloon bird feeder I made, and it's in really good shape. I didn't put any finish on it, and I don't keep seed in it, probably like I should, but it's stayed together pretty well out here in the weather. There are little places where it looks like the squirrels have chewed on it, especially the tops of the beer bottles on here. They're kind of frayed, and a couple of them, the top half is completely chewed off, so I think the squirrels like chewing on beer bottles. Over here on our back patio is the potting bench I made out of pallets. And I didn't put any finish on this, and it's turned really gray, so it's looking kind of crappy actually. But I might wash it down with some deck wash or something and finally put a finish on it. But my wife really loves this project. Here's the garden whirligig I made with Evelyn, and the weather's really gotten to it. It was made out of birch plywood, and the plies are separating on a lot of the pieces. The flower fell off, so I think we're going to have to build a new one for this spring. It's getting kind of cold out here, so let's go inside. The door from the garage workshop leads into our family room, and this is where I have the twisted Christmas tree that I made, and also I have the Santa Intarsia box that I made for Lainey's Christmas box build-off in 2012. And yeah, it's still got our Santa pictures in it, so I think I'm going to leave this out for the entire year. The whirligigs I made for the Whirligig Wars contest are up here on top of this Armoire Entertainment Center. I've got Elvis up here and also the Kiss one. The gravity-defying picture frame I made ended up on our fireplace mantle, and I put pictures of me and my dad in there, and it stays up here. The 4-foot bandsaw box I made out of a 2x4 for the Summers Woodworking 2x4 contest ended up on our dining room table because it's really the longest place we have where we can put it. It's either here or the fireplace or on a dresser that we have upstairs, so it ended up here in the dining room. Just inside the front door is where the shoe shelf ended up, and that's the one I built with the Rockler shelf supports, and that turned out really great, and we use it all the time. Here's the record player stand I made with those hairpin table legs from Rockler, and I actually ended up putting a stereo receiver on it and a modern turntable so I can listen to the records. We've actually got like 5 crates of records, so I intend to pick out my favorite ones and put them on the stand here so I can listen to them, but I just haven't done it yet. Several of my projects have ended up here in our front living room, and here's the tone drum I made, and it still sounds pretty good. Over here is the fan I made out of wood that was for a 2x4 contest, and it still works, and I use that from time to time. Here's an idea I got from Joe Ness over at Ness Customs Woodwork. He had a Powermatic logo that he created a little stand for, so My dad had an old toolbox that was too far gone, so I saved the emblem off it. So after seeing Joe's idea, I made a little stand to mount this emblem on it, and that turned out pretty cool. I don't have a video for that, but it's a great idea. And in this corner, I have the shoe shine boxes. I have my dad's shoe shine box and the copy that I made of it. Haven't decided what to do with those yet, but that's all those records I was talking about that I still need to go through and pick out my favorites. Over here on this end table, I've got 3 projects that I've made. One is another tongue drum. I've also got the bandsaw bowl basket that I made, and the candy dispenser that Evelyn and I made, and it pretty much stays empty. Now we're upstairs in my daughter's room, and by far my most popular video has been the one for her jewelry box that I made for her 10th birthday. It's still in great shape, and she's got it filled up with jewelry, and she keeps it here beside her bed. Also, we've got a mallet that Mike Rush over at Underground Woodworking made just for Evelyn. So she likes that and keeps it displayed here in her room. Here's another bandsaw box I made her for Christmas a couple of years ago. I cut out her name out of some red cedar. And here's another project I made. Evelyn had found this piece of oriented strand board and asked me to make something out of it, so I made a little saw-shaped picture frame and put our picture in there. So that turned out great. I don't have a video for that. And look, another tongue drum. I made all the kids tongue drums for Christmas this year, so she's had hers out on her bed and she's been playing with it. One of the tea light candle holders I made ended up on my wife's nightstand, and she likes to use that a lot. Alright, well, we're back out here in the shop, and I hope you enjoyed seeing where a lot of my projects ended up. Actually, another one of my videos was on milling up black walnut logs that my cousin had given me. So I went up to my lumber rack and pulled some down, and it's just beautiful. It appears to be dried out now, so I'm looking forward to building some projects with it this year. So once again, Happy New Year to everybody, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Before you go, please visit me at facebook.com/thecarmichaelworkshop and like my page. I post a lot of extra information on my Facebook page. Also, don't forget you can find me on Twitter, Google+, Keek, and Pinterest.